I'm convinced my wife is cheating on me with a lesbian from work. The realization hit me like a freight train, and the pain is unlike anything I've ever felt. My wife and I, both 36, have been married for 12 years, and we have 3 beautiful children. Our life together wasn't perfect, but it was ours until early December, when everything started to feel wrong. I could sense a shift in her, a distance that hadn't been there before. When I asked her what was going on, she brushed it off, saying she'd been depressed lately. She blamed it on the kids growing older and needing her less, her thinning hair, her dissatisfaction with her body, and the overwhelming stress of her job. Her words sounded genuine, but there was a hollowness behind them that gnawed at me. Wanting to help, I asked if there was anything I could do. She insisted she just needed space to work through it. So, I stepped up. I took on 90% of the household responsibilities to ease her burden. I cooked every meal, cleaned the house, took care of the kids, and helped with their homework. I've always been hands-on, but I went into overdrive, hoping to give her the breathing room she needed. I thought if I could lighten her load, she'd find her way back to herself and to me. But instead of drawing closer, she seemed to drift further away. Around this time, I noticed she'd stopped using Facebook to chat with friends and switched to Snapchat for everything. I've always disliked Snapchat. Its messages disappear, leaving no trace. Whenever I walked by, she'd quickly close her phone, like she was hiding something. She even changed her phone password, which she'd never done before. When I asked about it, she claimed she was having private conversations with friends about her depression and didn't want anyone reading them out of embarrassment. Her explanation didn't sit right with me. It felt like a flimsy excuse, but she wouldn't say more, and I didn't want to push her into a corner. A couple of months earlier, a new woman joined her team at work to help during a particularly hectic period. Let's call her Sam. She's a lesbian, which didn't bother me at first. My wife had always said she had no interest in being close to another woman romantically. After long hours working together, Sam and my wife became friends. They started grabbing dinner after late shifts, just the two of them. I didn't think much of it until Christmas, when Sam gave my wife several handmade crafts. These weren't casual gifts. You could tell they took time, care, and intention, almost like they were meant to impress. Acquaintances don't put that kind of effort into gifts. It felt personal, intimate even, and it set off alarm bells in my head. I tried to shrug it off, telling myself I was overreacting, but the unease lingered. Sam lives about 2.5 hours away and travels weekly to help at my wife's workplace. As the busy season wound down in early January, Sam invited the team to a late Christmas party at her house. There was a bonfire, drinks, and festivities. My wife decided to stay the night at Sam's place. When she came home the next day, she casually mentioned that Sam had cooked her quail for breakfast. Quail? Who cooks quail for a guest? She didn't share much about the party, no details, no pictures. That was odd. My wife usually posts about every outing with friends on Facebook, but there was nothing about this event. The silence felt deliberate, like she was hiding something. Desperate to reconnect, I decided to plan a special date night. I booked a Topgolf session, knowing she loves the game, and timed it so she could watch her favorite sports team play. I thought it would be a perfect way to spark some joy. But the very next day, she announced she was going to Topgolf with Sam and another friend for a girls' night. She made it clear I wasn't invited. The rejection stung deeply. It wasn't just that she chose them over me, it was the way she dismissed me, like I didn't matter. That feeling of being unwanted by the woman I loved for over a decade cut deeper than I can describe. Their outings became more frequent, almost weekly, and the circumstances grew stranger. One day, they went hiking. Sam's roommate was supposed to join, but she conveniently got sick and canceled. So, it was just the two of them, alone in the woods. It felt like a date. Then there was a hockey game. Sam had tickets for herself and her roommate, but, surprise, the roommate had a sudden family issue and couldn't make it. Another date, just the two of them. None of these outings made it to Facebook, which only fueled my suspicions. My wife's secrecy was eating me alive. This past weekend, they attended a music festival together. Several of her friends were supposed to go, but when the day came, it was just her and Sam. I tried to stay calm, to trust her, but the doubts were overwhelming. While folding laundry that day, I noticed something unusual, a bright red, crotchless lace thong sticking out of her clothing basket. My heart sank. In our 12 years together, she'd only worn lingerie for me once, and this wasn't it. Digging deeper, I found an Amazon package hidden under the pile, containing several more lingerie sets in different colors and styles, all brand new. There were also two negligées that looked worn and washed but still fairly new. The package had been delivered to her workplace, clearly to keep it from me. She wasn't wearing these for me. So who was she wearing them for? The only person she'd spent overnight alone time with recently, besides her married best friend, was Sam. Other clues piled up. The other day, she used 2 razors to shave and made sure to wash the hairs down the drain, something she doesn't usually do. When I've confronted her about our struggling relationship, I've asked point blank if there's someone else. Her response is always the same: there is no other guy. The way she phrases it feels like a deliberate loophole, technically truthful but dodging the real question. It's a tactic she's used before. She's always been good at manipulating situations, twisting things to suit her narrative. We've had trust issues in the past, and this felt all too familiar. About a month ago, she dropped a bombshell. She said she'd lost her spark for me and wasn't in love with me anymore. Those words shattered me. I'm convinced she's developing feelings for Sam. The late-night dinners, the gifts, the secret outings, it all points to something more than friendship. I know I might sound paranoid, but the evidence keeps stacking up. My heart screams that I'm not imagining this, that I'm not just pain shopping, as I've heard it called. The thought of losing her, of our family falling apart, is unbearable. Our 3 kids' lives will be turned upside down if we divorce, all because of something that feels so preventable. The pain is relentless. I didn't sleep at all last night. My head feels heavy, throbbing with a migraine that won't quit. I've been cheated on in past relationships, but those were short-lived. This is different. 12 years, 3 kids, a life built together, it's all crumbling, and I'm powerless to stop it. I'm a sensitive guy, and this betrayal, if it's real, is the worst feeling I've ever experienced. My panic is through the roof, and the sadness is suffocating. I decided not to confront her immediately. Instead, I made a plan. I scheduled a meeting with a lawyer for Wednesday afternoon to understand my options and protect myself and the kids. She was due home around noon that day, and I planned to take our son to church for a few hours of peace and prayer. The wait was agonizing. Every fiber of my being wanted to confront her, to demand answers, but I knew I had to be strategic. I couldn't let her manipulate the situation or have her cake and eat it too, after what she'd done. The day she returned from the festival, I could barely look at her. She acted normal, chatting about the music and the weather, but her eyes avoided mine. I kept my composure, nodding along, while inside, my heart was breaking. At church, I prayed for clarity, for strength, for a way to save our family. But deep down, I knew the truth was coming, and it would change everything. That evening, after the kids were in bed, I sat her down. My hands shook as I laid out everything: the Snapchat secrecy, the password change, the handmade gifts, the quail breakfast, the girls' night, rejections, the lingerie, the razors, the carefully worded denials. I told her I'd spoken to a lawyer and was prepared to move forward with separation if she didn't come clean. Her face went pale. For a moment, she tried to deflect, insisting I was overreacting, that Sam was just a friend. But I pressed harder, recounting every detail, every red flag. Finally, she broke. She admitted she'd developed feelings for Sam. It started innocently, she said, but the late nights, the shared meals, the attention, it became something more. She swore nothing physical had happened, but the emotional connection was real. She'd been wearing the lingerie to feel confident, to reclaim a part of herself she felt she'd lost, but she couldn't deny the thrill of Sam's attention. Hearing her confess was like a knife to the chest, yet it brought a strange relief. The truth was out. I told her I couldn't stay in a marriage where I wasn't wanted. We agreed to separate, to work out a plan for the kids. It wasn't the ending I'd hoped for, but it was the closure I needed. The kids would always come first, and we'd find a way to navigate this for their sake. As I walked away from that conversation, I felt a weight lift, even as the pain lingered. The future was uncertain, but I knew I'd survive this, one step at a time. This story is coming to an end. Press like if you like this, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to hear more story from us.